Before we get started, a quick note. This conversation was pre-recorded, so you'll hear us chatting about Olivia's upcoming book release and events which may have already taken place by the time you're listening to this. So, welcome back to the podcast. Today, I'm joined by debut rom-com author Olivia Simons, whose novel Lying is My Love Language is full of heart, humour, romance, and plenty of relatable moments. In this episode, Olivia shares her journey from copywriting to published author, the persistence it took to overcome manuscript rejections, and how she balanced writing her debut novel while navigating pregnancy and motherhood. We also chat about the inspiration behind her story, the importance of female friendships, writing romance with emotional depth, and the lessons she's learned on the road to publication. Whether you're an aspiring author, a romance reader, or someone chasing a creative dream, this conversation is full of honest insights, encouragement, and plenty of laughs. So let's jump in and meet Olivia Simons. Hey Olivia, how are you?
Lisa, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining. Very excited. I do have your book here, which I'm very eager to start reading. It's my next one that I'm going to read. So love a good rom-com romance book. So can't wait. We're going to deep dive into that a little bit later. But before we jump into kind of your story, I'd love for you to share a bit about yourself to the audience.
So this is going to be my first book out in the world. Very, very excited. I am freshly 30 years of age. So, I think a lot of people, myself included, before I even tried this, thought overnight successes they just appeared overnight, as they say, but it is a long process. I've spent a few years as a copywriter for Woolworths. I have been with them for a few years, but I just had my first baby. So I'm on maternity leave now, which is a whole other kettle of fish. But yeah, that's me. I have pretty much just been writing since I left uni. And then, finally figured out that the secret herbs and spices that are involved with creating a book that gets published.
Yeah. So let's talk about that then. So, have you always been writing? Like, when did you pick up that pen, or when did you start writing on your laptop or computer?
I originally thought it was only after uni that I really started writing, but then I went back to my parents' house a little while ago and my mum pulled out these magazines that I wrote when I was younger. And I was like, wow, I couldn't even remember doing that. But it just goes to show that maybe it does start a lot earlier than you think. But seriously writing, it wasn't yet until university that I thought, you know what, let's actually try and create one big text, because it's completely different to writing a couple of pages in a magazine. Or for me as a copywriter, they're very shorthand writing. So my bread and butter was just emails or push notifications for apps.
Yeah.
So really shorthand, but to then try and churn out 80,000 words or 90,000 words is so different. It requires so much patience and perseverance, and it is a real skill you need to learn just by trying, because it doesn't matter how much reading you do. It's not until you actually try and put pen to paper or, open up a Word doc that you really know the mammoth task that's ahead of you.
Yeah, it's so true. Did you, when you first started writing, was it in this genre?
No. So this is the 7th book I've written.
Wow.
First one to be published. So you look at J.K. Rowling, for example, or other authors, and they always talk about how hard it is, how many times you have to try and, submit your manuscript, but it doesn't actually dawn on you that the first one you write might actually not be a success and it might be absolute garbage, and that's okay. 6 manuscripts before this one, I was writing fantasy, I was writing thrillers, general contemporary fiction, pretty much everything and anything. I was trying to write what I was reading at the time because I loved reading fantasy. And I was like, I'm going to create this, beautiful world and all that sort of stuff. And then you spend months pitching, to publishers, agents. You go to these literary speed dates. And, you don't hear back for months because this is an industry that is quite slow in that regard. You submit your manuscript and they say, we'll get back to you in 3 months. And if you don't hear from us, carry on. And so you submit and you're just waiting around. And then you don't hear anything. And then you've got to submit to other people because it's kind of it's frowned upon to submit to everyone at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's such a humbling experience. So, by the time you do hear back from someone, it's like, is this a joke? Is this a spam email, or is someone genuinely interested because I've spent years doing this? It's a real, I think I've won the lottery sort of thing when someone finally replies to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's so true. And like you said, there's so many now traditional authors who, you look at their experience and like exactly the same as you, they have written so many books that are unpublished, but it hadn't stopped them, right? Because they had a love for it. So what do you think it was that kept you going?
It's something I've just really wanted to be. I really wanted to be an author in this space. And I was last year, Woolworths was going through another round of redundancies. And I thought, oh my God, they're going to tap me on the shoulder soon, say that my job's no longer available. And I was like, I really need this to work to become an author. And that last bit of motivation, I was like, I'm going to finish this one book. And if I don't hear anything again, this is maybe a sign that maybe I'm actually pretty shit at this and I shouldn't be an author. And I'll take it as my, omen that I should probably just pivot careers. And so I just sent it out to a couple of agents. And then it was maybe like 48 hours later, I heard back from the agent who I have now, which is now, bless her cotton socks. She came back and she was like, love it. Send me the whole manuscript. And I was like, oh my God. And then it was just, it just moved so quickly after that, from signing with her to pitching to the publishers to then thankfully went to auction, and then Penguin picked it up.
Yeah.
And then it's just been go, go, go ever since.
It's crazy how like in that, it's just like within 48 hours you heard back. Like that's when you know it's good. That's when you know that like you've kind of hit that spot of what they're looking for.
Yeah, I think I just maybe knew the pitch a little bit better. And again, that's just down to practice.
Yeah.
Just knowing how to submit something that they actually want to read and are going to captivate audiences. I definitely think the first few times I wrote a book and started pitching, it was garbage. Like when I look back on it, it just wasn't packaged properly.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me. Reading back on it, how is any reader or agent or publisher going to look at that and be like, that's going to sell copies,
Yeah. How did you upskill yourself in that then? Was it just practice, or did you
Well, at uni, I studied creative writing. I majored in creative writing. Then I interned at the Australian Society of Authors. And I think that internship was just an absolute godsend for me. They are worth their weight in gold, that company, business. They're non-for-profit. So I just cannot recommend them enough to any author or aspiring author. They've got endless amounts of resources and support out there. That's how I kind of got started into the literary speed dating side of things. Yeah. So that's how, you can kind of just get your foot in the door just to be in front of editors or publishers themselves.
Yeah.
And it's really good practice on, you've got 3 minutes to convince them that this is the story that they're after. Incredibly nerve-wracking, but it's great to just put yourself out there, get into the rhythm of things, because if you can't pitch in 3 minutes, then you need to go back and work harder on that. And then from uni, the internship, and then obviously just working as a copywriter. I know it's a very different style of things, but it is great practice on how to write really concise sentences because you've got amount of space to use that.
Yeah.
And then, six manuscripts before this. It's just trial and error. Try again. I remember hearing a quote from, I forget her name, but she's the CEO of Boost Juice.
Oh, Janine, I've forgotten her
Janine.
last name. Yeah, her first
I
name.
heard
Janine.
her, she said a quote and it was like, the 3 Fs: fail fast, fail frequently, and fail forward. So it's like, just keep going and you'll get there. And it's never been more true than it is for this experience.
Yeah, now you can look back and be like, it was all worth it, and I'm glad I kept going. I spoke to another author not so long ago, and I said, what's the difference? Oh, they actually said to me, the difference between a published author and non-published author is they just never gave up. And it's like, yeah, they just kept going and really pushed through. And I think you always think, I think it's harder in today's society because we've got social media now and people compare themselves, don't they? And they just don't actually know what's happening behind that kind of account and everything that people are going through. And so it might look all rosy and shiny on, the front, but actually you don't know, like yourself, you've written 6 manuscripts before this one's been released, and all the things and effort that you've put into this. What made you then pivot into like romance, like rom-com?
So given this is the first time I've written in this genre, obviously I should have been in there earlier. It actually, I find a lot of my ideas come just from daydreaming or just waking up and thinking, you know what, that little scene that I just had a dream about would be perfect in a book, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I had a dream about attending a friend's wedding in the outback and it just being a lot of fun. And I woke up and I couldn't get that idea out of my head. And I thought, you know what, this would be a really good rom-com scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just kind of built it around that. For me, I think it was like I've tried all the genres I thought I should be in. I had this idea in my head about the sort of writer I wanted to be because of what I was reading. And then I thought, you know what? Sometimes stick to your strengths. I joke around with my partner a lot and I was like, you know what? I could put a couple of these jokes in the book, lighten it up a little bit. Get rid of all the magical elements in the fantasy or, the violence of thrillers and all that sort of stuff. I've got nothing to lose trying something different. And it obviously just paid off. So, I think I'll probably be staying in this space for a little bit. If it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be nice, obviously, as well to build up a bit of an audience in the rom-com space as well before constantly changing to a different genre.
Yeah. How long did it take you to write this book? Because obviously you're now on maternity leave, so you've had your first child, which is very exciting. But prior to that, like how long did it actually take you to write this?
I'm a quick writer. I really rely on just momentum and, that initial spark of the idea. I mean, this is throwback to uni days. I need a deadline because I need that pressure. And I need that little short burst of energy where I can just write. So this one, I did it in a couple of months.
Wow.
And then that was great. And all of my other ones, I wrote really quickly as well, all a month or 2 months sort of thing. And then I've just finished my second one. Hasn't gone to my agent yet. So we don't know about the response to that. But because I was pregnant and I was really sick, my agent was like, take all the time you need sort of thing. And because I didn't have that deadline, this second book has taken me so long to write. I need that fixed date to work towards. So the pressure is just so unwarranted and I really shouldn't put myself under that. But, diamonds are made under pressure, that's my style. But I know a lot of people tend to, prefer if they're working part-time sort of thing, just to chip away a couple hundred words a day sort of thing or, dedicate a couple of days a week to writing. And I'm like, no, I need a few weeks off and just nut it all out.
I was going to say, what does your schedule look like when you do write your novels? Like, is that what you do? You take a chunk of time off or are you like literally writing thousands of words a day, like for a month?
Yeah, I try and do like 10,000 words a week sort of thing.
Okay.
I really, so a couple months basically to really just nut it out. I'm really not good with just opening my laptop and just a couple hundred words, closing my laptop and go.
Yeah.
Because then I forget what I'm doing and I forget the character's coloured hair and what they did last chapter if I've got too much time. And then I end up wasting time having to go back and read what I've written because I've forgotten about it.
Yeah.
Whereas if I condense it in such a hot little period of time, I can remember all the details and I'm not forgetting little pieces of plots that I've just sprinkled in somewhere and left it as a loose end.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, and everyone has a different writing style. Did you give yourself a deadline for this one then? Like you're going to send it out to an agent by this date?
Yep. So again, we were going through redundancies at the time. So I was like expecting any morning that I would log on to get that meeting in my calendar. Yeah. So I was just writing furiously. I was like, I need this done. I need this finished in like the next couple of weeks because any day now I could be out of a job sort of thing. Yeah. And so when I sent that away, and thank God she actually got back to me in a couple of days as opposed to months, because then I was like, now I've got this taking off. I'm going to be okay.
Yeah. Oh, and it's a great time. Were you pregnant at that time then when you sent it off as well?
No, I wasn't. It wasn't until after everything happened that I found out, which I'm kind of glad because I thought, how hard could pregnancy be? And wasn't I humbled? It was the worst experience of my life for 9 months. I was so sick. So I'm glad that, you had that. The deal got done. And Penguin was so accommodating for me as well when it came to like rounds of edits. They were like, it's sent through, take your time. We don't need it back till this date sort of thing. So again, for me, I had that deadline and I could just work towards that at my own pace, which was really nice.
Yeah, that's nice. And I mean, you said that you're now on your second book. How has that changed now you've got your baby as well? Like,
it is so hard.
Yeah. Juggling it all.
It's like getting blood from a stone, pulling teeth, because they go down for naps and you're like, okay, now I need to be creative right now for the next 30 minutes sort of thing. And then they might stir a little bit and you've got to stop, come back, put them back down, come back, be creative, stop, go back, fix it. And it's just completely different. I'm so tired. I would not recommend it. I was like trying to tell my sister because she's a little bit older than me, but she doesn't have any. And I was like, do not rush. I was like, make sure you don't have anything on, because if you've got big plans on at the same time, I was like, it's going to be really hard to juggle. Some people nail it. Hats off to them. I'm really jealous. But I just can't juggle because you're trying to be everything for everyone while trying to take your career off. So it's kind of like having your foot on the accelerator and the brake at the same time. Your body's saying, slow down, relax. You're recovering. You're trying to raise this baby that's defenseless, but also speed up, pick up extra work. You've got to build up this momentum. Your career has just like basically started in the traditional world. And so you need to capitalize on this. You need to be, pumping out more books. You need to be on social media. You need to be building up your following. You need to be posting constantly. And it's just like, there's not enough hours in the day.
No, and it's really intense. And like babies are unpredictable. Like you just said, you could think, oh, they're going to have a 2-hour nap. And then like 20 minutes later, you're like, you can hear them. You're like, oh my God, like, where's that 2 hours that I needed? And then you spend half the time on my kids, like they're still quite young, but nap time, like, just sometimes was in there just trying to get them back to sleep again. And then they'd go back to sleep for like 20 minutes. You'd have like 20 minutes and then they'd stir again. But yeah, you're right. It's very unpredictable and a different lifestyle. But I totally get that as well, that we try and do everything. And then we get to the point where our body's like, nah, can't keep doing it this way. So it's good that you've recognized that early.
I haven't recognized it, honestly. Sometimes I drop the ball and I like start crying or, postpartum rage, and I'll get really, really angry. You just spent an hour trying to put them down to only get 5 minutes of a nap time or something.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, but then it does dawn on you, like, I really need to just relax. Like, there's people out there with 3 kids that are way more chill than me. So I need to sort of drink what they're drinking, have some Kool-Aid and just, be more laid back, I guess. But again, it's just like the 6 manuscript thing. I think just the more time you're in it, you begin to learn a little bit more of the tricks of the trade, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about this book, and I love the cover. Lying is my love language. So you just said you woke up and you had a dream. what did it kind of look like from then that you wanted to get this story out?
So the part of the dream was the Outback wedding. And I thought, what a great setting, because there's just something about when you pick up a book, a sense of escapism and just being able to be in a completely different setting to what you might live day to day. And not obviously a lot of people live in the Outback or rural settings for that matter. And I thought, you know what, this would be a really good point of the book to have. And so I originally had the book starting there, and then I kind of went back and, this city girl, Jamie, lives in the city. So then she goes back into the city and there's this push-pull of the two different settings. But then I thought the pacing was a little bit out and we needed to start in the city before they go to the Outback, so you get to know Jamie a little bit more and pocket her little world first, so you get that contrast. That's how it all started. And then it just kind of snowballed. Like I said, when I write in these like real short periods, I don't go in with an outline. So I don't spend a while, once I've got an idea, mapping out the book first. That is probably a flaw of mine. I kind of just jump in straight away, not really knowing the pacing of the book. And yes, I do write myself into corners a lot of the time. And it is really annoying when you get into a corner and you can't get yourself out and you think, oh my God, I'm going to have to delete the last few paragraphs. And I'll literally have a separate document called the graveyard.
Oh.
And I put all the stuff I've just spent hours, days doing. And I just put it there because I'm like, I'm not going to delete it.
Yes.
I might want it later. 9 times out of 10, it stays in the graveyard. But yeah, you start writing and you think, oh, it'd be really funny if they did this. And then you just keep going from there. That's kind of just my style. I know a lot of people benefit from planning.
Plotting. Yeah.
Planning, I do see the benefits of doing, because then you know your character's motivations.
Yeah.
What they do like, what they don't like, how they got there in the first place. Whereas I tend to just make it up as I go. And then when it comes up to the editing process, I'm just like, oh God, like I had them really funny there, but now they're pretty cold here. What's the motivation? And they just get a little bit clunky that way. So because of my style of writing, I do spend more time in the editing process because of that. So it is up to you, I guess, personal preference.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So do you want to give your pitch then around what your book is about? Because you've probably practiced this so many times.
I actually haven't. And I had my book launch on Saturday. Today's Monday. Oh, I've lost the track of the time.
Monday.
Anna Downs, who was in conversation with me for the launch, she was like, give me the pitch. And I was like, oh my God, I haven't worked out a really nice pitch yet. So I kind of just fumbled my way through and I was like, I really should figure out a really nice, concise couple sentences. And I still haven't done that. So the pitch I gave on the night was basically, you've got our city girl, Jamie. She lies every day. She lies to keep things light and casual. That is her MO, until she runs into the one man who doesn't believe a word she says. And so it starts out as a little game between them until Jamie has to figure out whether she wants to start telling the truth in order to keep the man she's fallen madly in love with. And then it's obviously got this beautiful backdrop between Sydney and the Northern Territory as well.
Wow, brilliant. It sounds amazing. How was your book launch at the weekend?
It was really nice. Yeah. I admittedly haven't been to a lot of book launches, so I didn't know what to expect. But I was in great hands with Anna Downs. She was so lovely. Bookachino, if anyone gets a chance to go there in Avalon on Sydney's northern beaches, it is the nicest bookshop.
Oh.
It's got such a beautiful little community there, and they had everything set up when we arrived. So I literally didn't have to lift a finger. I just got a glass of bubbly to take the edge off, sat down, just had a beautiful conversation about the book and, the story behind the story, how I got there in the first place, some Q&As. And it was just nice to see everyone and celebrate, because you don't realize until you're in the thick of it that there's little opportunity to celebrate where or how far you've come as a writer, because you're constantly in the thick of it. You're constantly hustling.
Yeah.
You're constantly trying to drum up momentum. And whilst you're doing that, you've got to try and write another book. So it's nice to just come up for air, stop for a
Yeah,
second and just enjoy it with some of your closest family and friends, which was really nice.
I know. Obviously, it launches tomorrow at 28th of July. Have you got anything planned, like personally?
Nothing personally. I was chatting to my husband. I was like, you know what would be really nice? Because we barely talk now because you've just got this baby in between you and you're
Yeah,
talking about the baby. You're not really connecting anymore. I was like, it'd be really nice if we could, for the lunchtime nap, give her to my mum
yeah,
and we go out for lunch tomorrow just to celebrate,
yeah.
just you and I. So I think we might do that
That would
tomorrow.
be
Fingers
lovely.
crossed.
Yeah, yeah, that will be really nice. And you've got a lot of events coming up as well, so that's going to be amazing. A thing to juggle, but yeah, still just enjoy the celebrations.
It's such a wild, wild ride. And yeah, it's just, I said to the publicist at Penguin, I was like, I'd love to go into the city and just, pop my head into a few bookstores and do some signings. And she did an itinerary for me. And
Oh.
I was like, well, that's a pretty busy day.
You're like, I just want to casually go in there and be like, well, just come and sign a few. And now you've got
I just
a
thought I
back to
was
back.
going to meander in, do a couple signings, have a little browse, maybe pick up a couple more books sort of thing. But I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I've got 15 minutes between each bookstore.
Wow.
And, it's all through the city. So then we've got to drive between them. And then
Yeah.
she's really sweet, told me where to park, has told me, if you're running behind, skip this bookstore, go here.
She's thought about everything.
Oh, she did. Well, she was supposed to come with me. But then I was like, I can't. I'm going to have to go at a different pace because if I don't have my bub with me, I still have to pump.
Yes.
So, that's another aspect you just don't think about because, if your partner was in the same situation, he just gets to walk out the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't worry about these things. But, if your baby doesn't take the bottle, you've got to make sure they take the bottle. Otherwise, they'll be coming with you.
Yeah.
And then once they do that, you're like, oh, I've actually still got to pump because you can't just turn it off and then turn it back on when you come home.
No.
So there's just logistics that it's beautiful part of the female experience.
Yeah, motherhood, right? It's you got to love it, but it definitely keeps us on our toes. And like you said, you have to think about every single different thing that's going to come your way. So
you're excited on one hand, but you're also just like, man, my hands are full.
Yeah.
But I'm also, just really excited. I'm so pumped to just see my book on the bookshelves.
Yeah. What's the one thing you've absolutely loved about writing this story?
My dedication was more towards women. It was like, for the women who told me the romance is great, but sisterhood is everything. And for this book, I really enjoyed the female dynamic between Jamie and her two best friends, Abby and Ella, in this book. Even her sister, Izzy. I feel like there's a real love language in that. It's just so unconditional. Women are always there for each other through thick and thin. And that is the biggest love story there is, really.
Yeah.
So as much as it is about Jamie and Luke, there's spice, there's depth, they get along. But behind all the scenes, there's just this enduring female friendship that through everything, it will always be there. And that's what I really enjoyed, sort of carving out space for that and giving a bit of love and attention to those dynamics as well.
Do you know what? That's so true, actually. Before I jumped on this call, because I'm originally from the UK, so I have to navigate different time zones. So I've got like my lifelong friends in the UK that I went to school with and have been friends with for 30 odd years now. And one of my best friends actually just sent me this reel from Facebook, and it was about we think that romance is all about the guys, but true romance is our friends. And then it was this reel about all the special moments that we have with our girlfriends. And it's so true. So I love that you've just said that, because I just think we forget how special those female friendships are that we have.
It is. Anything with female strangers as well. You go into a female bathroom and it's an absolute community in there,
It's so
you
true.
come out and you've got two best friends, you've been invited to someone else's wedding.
Yeah.
It's just great that we're just so supportive of each other. And I just feel like not enough light has been put on that. And I think it's always really special to just do a bit of a nod to the girls out there.
Yeah, to highlight that. Yeah, I think sometimes we forget, right? We get so fixated on like the opposite sex, and it's actually no. True friendships are real romantic stories.
Yeah.
Anything like, what's been the biggest challenge writing this story for you?
Honestly, it's the spicy scenes has been the biggest challenge. Because I said this the other night to a friend, the book community will come for you if you do not write it properly.
Yes.
God forbid you label body parts incorrectly. You know, if you give it a different term and people don't like that term, or you give a different measurement. I know that I saw a thread and it was talking about how she could barely fit her hands around or something. And people were picking up drink bottles and they could fit their hand around. They're like, what is this author talking about? So it was honestly more stressful than anything that I've ever written, because I don't know, it felt quite arduous to write them because you're like, okay, the characters themselves have to get something out of this interaction, you know, and you've got to nail the consent. You've got to nail the trust, the vulnerability in these characters. There's a lot involved in them just, you know, banging and being done.
Yeah.
You know, how are they going to communicate beforehand? How are they going to communicate after? It's a real tricky sort of dynamic that I really struggled at the start to try and get the flow of it.
Yeah.
Especially because in this book, there's actually a few spicy scenes. So it wasn't just one I had to focus on. There were a few. And with Jamie, because she does lie for a living, I wanted to show quite a contrast. So at the start of the book, she does have a few interactions with some Tinder dates, for example.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a performance for her. She has this mask on. She'll perform for these dates. Whereas when she's intimate with Luke, she's more vulnerable. The mask isn't there, whether she knows it or not. And so you've got these scenes, but it needs to be obvious to the readers that's what that is.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, it took up a lot more headspace than I thought it was going to. That was the hard part.
Has your husband read the book and the spicy scenes?
He has not finished it, but I don't blame him because I've given the bub to him when I'm working.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a lot of free time himself to do any reading. But, you know, we live 8 hours up the coast. We're in Sydney at the moment.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? We'll just put the audiobook on the drive home. And that's 8 hours done. Book done. But no, he hasn't. He's read the first few and he's like, well, that's a bit spicy. But the one I was actually more dreading, my dad's already read the book. And originally I was like, he's not allowed to read it. Or at least he can, but let me block out the pages that I don't want him to read. But he read it before I had a chance to do that. And we haven't spoken about it. And I don't think we'll ever speak about it. But he said he loved the book. So there you go.
Good. Yeah. He's probably just switched off that's my daughter that's been writing those spicy scenes.
Yes, absolutely. Do not think about who wrote this. Do not think about who her partner is. Do not spend any time. Just flick the paper.
Yeah, exactly. And if you were to give any aspiring emerging author out there advice, something that you have done or maybe would do differently if you were to do it again, what would you say to them?
I would ask for more advice. I didn't ask enough of other writers. I just had a lot of assumptions going into this, and going in it dark, you make a lot of mistakes thinking you know. And you can take courses and, you know, do a lot of reading up on what people say. But I think the issues that I ran into would have been avoided had I just sat down face to face. If you can, with another author, attend one of their book launches, you know, meet them in person and just ask, you know, how they went, or, you know, just learning other people's experiences probably would have helped me than just being kind of doing it on my own.
Yeah.
That would have been a huge help. So if anyone's out there thinking, you know, I'm doing a writing course, what can I do to get like an edge? Just attend more book events. if you can, any local events that are around you. I think it's a great way to, also just get into the community, because eventually you will have to be on social media and you will have to make these connections. And networking is everything in this industry as well, because the friends that you make will be the friends that actually try and lift you up as well. It's such a supportive industry, and there's a lot of authors that have struggled and they know how hard it is, and everyone is so willing to give you a leg up. That's so what I've really loved about sort of meeting other writers, is everyone is in it to help each other, which is just fantastic.
Do you feel that you have like a stronger network now?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think one thing that has really helped, and I haven't even tapped into it enough because I've just had my hands full with a baby, but my publisher was like, have a look at the debut crew. And so I'm part of the 2026 crew, and you join this Discord. Everyone there is going through the same thing you are. And it's just so nice to jump on a forum if you've got a question, or if you're worried about whether you're doing something wrong or right. Everyone's going through it at the exact same time. And everyone's like, you know what? I did this instead and it really worked. Or if you want to get this printed for your book launch, go here. They do really great, banners, for example, or sort of thing. Or what happens if you don't like your book cover? What do you do? And then you've got people saying, we pushed back and I'm so glad I did, because now I've got the cover of my dreams, sort of thing. And it's just knowing that there's other people in your corner. So if you do happen to decide to publish yourself, or traditionally you get that opportunity, try and join one of those groups, because, it's just so good.
Yeah, that's great advice. Did you have much? I mean, you just mentioned there about people pushing back on their cover. I mean, I love yours as well. Did you have much say in this, or?
That was actually the third iteration.
Okay.
And the first one was very Emily Henry vibes.
Yeah.
And I was terrified of it being too similar. A Great Big Beautiful Life.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the Australian cover. I think it's the US cover.
Okay.
That mine looked very similar too.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't feel comfortable being so similar. I understand why they're doing that, because you want readers to be able to associate the covers just quickly on the shelf. I get it. I was like, but I need to feel like I'm standing out on my own. It is a different book, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I was terrified of going back. I was one of those people being like, I can't say anything. Just little old me, like, I'll be cancelled. They'll hate me. And then my agent was really supportive. Melanie was like, let's just give a couple tweaks, sort of thing. Let it be constructive. Don't say anything negative.
Yeah.
And we'll try and obviously get a nice little middle ground. The second iteration was a little bit better, but I just wasn't totally in love with it. And I thought, that's it. I can't go back again. Like, no one goes back a third time. But we did. And my publisher at Penguin, Chris Ebbs, she was so supportive. Shout out to her. I love her to pieces. She was like, let me go back to the designer. We found one of the earlier copies that the designer did, but didn't obviously go through with. And we ended up just tweaking one of those that I loved. And that was basically that. We just changed sort of the colouring and maybe the font.
I love the colour, and I like the simplicity of it as well. Yeah, it's really nice. I look at anything, you kind of know what book it is, but it's, like you said, it's quite unique as well. Like it's going to stand out on the shelf. It's got everything that you want. You can tell it's kind of romance because it's got the two people on there as well, the colours, and yeah, I think you've done a good job because I know what you mean. Like, you don't want to be associated too much with like other authors that people just have that perception straight away that, the book's just going to be exactly the same as that author. When you might have a completely unique style going on. So you want to be your own person, create your own audience and readers.
And don't get me wrong, I would love to piggyback off the success of Emily Henry. If I could just have a slither of her audience, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do want to sort of stand out on your own. You do want to have your own voice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you never know what's going to happen, because I feel like we're going back into our rom-com era. Like I really feel like, you know, Letters for Isabel, like, I don't know if you've watched the movie, but I absolutely loved it. And it reminded me of like the 90s, early 2000 rom-coms that I used to watch. And I know that like when Anna sent me this and she was like talking about, oh, it's, you know, think about How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. I was like, oh my God, I love those movies. So, I mean, you never know. You could get approached about it being
If I get a
adapted.
Netflix deal, oh man, the ego. I would love that. But yeah, a real nod to the early 2000 rom-coms.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, even Sex and the City,
yeah,
you will eat this up, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to read. Like I said, I'm just finishing off one other book and I'm going straight into it because I love rom-coms, like romance. It's like, I love to read them. Just escapism for me, makes me just feel happy.
Yeah. So, and there's a lot going on in the world. So if you just want a little pick-me-up, a little light read, I think we all deserve a little light read every now and again.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, especially like when you're working and you've got children as well. I mean, and there's other, you know, people have got other things going on. They've got pets and they might be looking after family members and stuff. So like you said, just to switch off at the end of the day and to just escape into a different world for a little bit and just, I don't know about you, but I read before bed and it really helps me just switch off and go to sleep.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. If I read a bed, I'll blink and it'll be 3 a.m.
Really? Well, because you're a page turner, you just want to keep reading?
Yeah, it just wakes me right up because I'm like, I've got to know what happens next.
Yeah, that's
Whereas
true.
my partner reads, he gets 6 pages in, he's like, that's me. Turn fly off.
It's true, actually. Like sometimes I'm like, I've got to read this, and other times like I'll go to bed. And actually, my partner said to me yesterday, he was like, "You've been reading that book for a while." I was like, "Oh, have I?" I was like, "Oh, actually, because every time I come to bed, I read a bit, and then I just start falling asleep." And it's nothing to do with the book. It's just I think I'm just so tired at the end of the day, and it's a relaxant for me. So I think I just start reading, and then I know when like my eyes are drooping, I'm like, okay, no. So,
I mean, it is a better way to fall asleep than doom scrolling.
So. Yeah, it's so true. Yeah, so true. So, Olivia, where can people find out, like, where can they look for your events? Where can they find you? Where's the best place to go?
If you want to see me in person, I have got 2 more events coming up, but they're more Northern Rivers. So if you're further up the coast or you're looking for a weekend, actually it's during the week. If you're looking for a little escape during the week, I'll be at Gunnellabar Library on the 6th of August and I will be at Mawulumbar Library on the 8th of August as well.
Lovely.
So if you're around, I would love to see your faces. Otherwise, tune into, I think it's Perth radio on tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Tuesday. Might not come out by then. Who knows? Otherwise, you can grab the book anywhere. Big W, your independent bookstores, I cannot rave enough about.
Yeah.
Whatever the budget allows you, basically. Cost of living crisis.
I know.
A sale is a sale.
Yeah. Just get by. We don't care where you get it from. Are you, and you're on Instagram, aren't you? I know that you're trying to be on there a little bit more, but can people connect with you that way as well?
Absolutely. I am on Instagram. So Olivia R.A. Simons is the handle. Jump on if you want to give me a shout out or just if you've got any questions, let me know. If it takes me a couple of days to reply, I'm not ignoring you. I'm probably just sleep deprived, but I will get to you.
And it's a busy time for you. Like your book's now about to release. You've got these events coming up. Enjoy it as well. And I can't wait for people to start showing more love. I know they've already started showing it with art copies and stuff, but can't wait for people to show you some love and then to see what's next for you as well.
I cannot wait to hear what everyone thinks.
They're going to love it. I'm going to love it. Well, I loved having you on. Thank you so much for joining. And I'm so excited for you because it feels like this has just been a long time coming. And I mean, a moment, everything happens at once, but enjoy it and can't wait to see more.
Thanks, Lisa. Hopefully I'll be able to jump back on with the next one. We'll see.
Yes, I'm sure you will.